What's up, my comic comrades? One of the hottest books out right now is the new Predator vs. Wolverine. So with issue 2 dropping this past week, we're using it as a jumping on point because this title pits two of fandom's favorite characters against each other, and we need to know what happens. I mean, we're talking about one of Marvel's best hunters being hunted by one of the most notorious intergalactic hunters in the fictional universe, whose race is all about proving they are the best hunters in the galaxy. So this could get pretty crazy, and actually, Predator is no stranger to going after superheroes. We've seen him take on the Dark Knight in the Batman vs. Predator story, then there's the JLA vs. Predator, Superman vs. Predator, and Predator vs. Judge Dredd. But now it's Wolverine's turn, and let me tell you, so far this series does not disappoint. We also just had our first Whatnot live show, and we had a blast giving away a crap ton of comics and collectibles. But if you missed it, we'll be giving away more pieces in our next live show, so click our invite link to set up a free account and get a $10 credit to use whenever you want. Then follow our handle, Variant Comics, and bookmark our next show so you don't miss any of our big drops. Again, just click the link in the description below. Okay, issue 1 starts off in present day Canada, where we see Wolverine has just got the crap beat out of him, literally missing a chunk of his skull and shoulder. He says to himself, "They say I'm the best there is, but I sure as hell don't feel that way. Not now. Not that I'm the hunted. Now that I'm the prey." As we see the infamous 3-dotted triangle sight on his forehead, telling us he's being hunted by a predator. The predator then fires at Wolverine, and he just barely dodges. Wolverine quite literally is on the run from this predator, which is something we're not used to seeing Wolverine do, as he says to himself, "Rock and splintered wood shrapnel in my skin. Deep cut plasma burns. I'm a leaking bag of blood. That makes me slow to run and easy to track. When I come to the cliff, every nerve in my body is firing a red alert." We then see Wolverine is then able to hide off the side of a cliff as the predator finally deactivates his camouflage, standing on the top of the cliff looking for Wolverine. Wolverine then says in these final moments of the hunt, he wants to be seen. He wants us to face each other, to recognize each other as predator and prey, when he rips out my spine. Yeah, I'm going to say this is off to a fantastic start. The book then takes us to the Alaska Territory circa 1900, where we see a younger Wolverine hunting beavers. He's hunting them for their hides, saying, "Never understood the point of traps, because I never was good at the whole patience thing. I could fetch $1 per hide back then, which I suppose translates to around 100 today. Never cared much about the money. Only took as much as I needed to survive, and this is the kind of work I preferred. Lonesome work, woodwork, work that don't make you think too hard. And if killing was part of it, I was particularly good at that. This Northern Territory was a lawless frontier. You were on your own. That suited me fine." He goes on to say, "I never worried too much about the sub-zero winds or avalanches, the pissed off moose, the charging grizzlies. It's people who concerned me. People is why I use this cave as my safe. Alaska might have had 1,000 ways to kill you, but murder was at the top of the list. I'd rather stay away from their messy hunger, not out of fear, but annoyance and exhaustion." As we see a predator land his ship in Alaska looking for a hunt. The predator then sees another predator who was killed by a tribe with arrows and knives sticking out of it. Said predator then pulls out a shuriken. Elsewhere, Wolverine says he could smell a storm coming, so he headed into the outpost called Scar. He says it's mostly populated by lodgers, trappers, and miners, and a few women inclined to follow them, and that he avoided it except when he needed money or supplies, or a drink. The lady who runs the bar says to a man when Wolverine walks in, "There he is now." The man then comes up to Wolverine and says, "This one's on me, the next one too." Paying for Logan's drinks, but he could care less and takes the bottle and walks away. The man says, "Now hold on, I only want a moment of your time." Wolverine tells him, "If you're smart, you'll stay clear of me, because things are about to get ugly," as two men come up to Wolverine saying, assuming he makes it through the storm, the trade representative should be here tomorrow. But this one already knows that. This one always has a big pile of some things to sell. Said man then holds a gun to Wolverine's head saying, "Where do you keep all your treasures, little man?" But this is Wolverine, so clearly they're messing with the wrong guy. Logan then gets up and starts putting hands on these gentlemen and knives inside of them. He even cuts off one of the dude's hands with a saw. The man who was waiting for Wolverine says, "That's remarkable. You're exactly who I need. I'm desperate. You see, it's my son. He's been kidnapped. They're holding him for ransom. Please, I'm begging you, help me." We are then taken back to the predator, who's practicing with the shuriken, hunting and killing deer, mountain lions, even freaking killer whales, but it's all too easy for him. He then spots a fire coming from a nearby village, which he sets his sights on. Meanwhile, we see that Logan agreed to help this man get his son back because even a hard ass like Wolverine is a sucker for children. However, on their way through the frozen woods, they see skinned animal and human bodies hanging from the trees, which we know was done by the predator, but they have no idea what kind of person or thing could have done something so heinous. Long story short, they eventually make it to where this guy's son is being held, and Wolverine goes in and starts stabbing people and chopping off hands left and right. Once he disposes of all the men who begged Wolverine to get his son back shoots Wolverine from behind and tells Wolverine he lied. "I hired them to do jobs for me. They decided they didn't need me anymore and took my money. So I decided I no longer needed them," as he essentially tricked the Wolverine into killing them. But the joke's on this man as he's then vaporized by the shoulder cannon of a predator who walks through the door. At which point, Wolverine, being Wolverine of course, has already healed and gets back up using his claws to slash the predator's throat. The predator then takes off his mask, revealing his face, and hisses at Wolverine, with Wolverine saying, "Whatever you are, I'm going to carve the ugly off of you." As the two enter into an epic battle with the predator using one of his weapons to break a set of Wolverine's claws in half, and then proceeds to impale Wolverine right through the stomach. Wolverine then pulls it out and starts to run, as captions say, "I was young, but I'd seen more than my share of blood and trouble." This thing was on another level. I wasn't one to run from a fight, but I knew if I was going to win this one, I needed to move fast and think smart. As he leads the predator to a bear cave where the bear starts attacking the predator. And at first, it seems like the bear defeated the predator, but as Wolverine walks away thinking he defeated this monster, we see the predator walk out of the cave holding the bear's head, as the caption says, "What I didn't realize until many years later was this was just the beginning of what would turn out to be one of the longest hunts of both our miserable lives." We are then taken to South America many years ago, where we learned Professor Thornton has taken Wolverine and several other mutants and made a team called Team X. But he frequently wipes the minds of Wolverine and the others. So they don't remember much, meaning Wolverine does not remember his first run-in with the Predator. The team consists of Wolverine, Sabretooth, Jackson, Cruel, and Maverick. They were sent on a covert mission, and the intel told them a guerrilla force was planning a coup. The former general was storing weapons and rallying support from a jungle stronghold. We were supposed to make sure he never came into power. Everything was sleepy and quiet. Once we took out the Sentry, it would be easy pickings. But their mission is interrupted by not one, not two, but 5 Predators. As Wolverine says, "I might have forgotten about our battle years ago, but he had not forgotten about me." And this time he brought reinforcements, as we see Predator brought backup this time to take out Wolverine and his team. And with that, issue 1 ends. Dude, that is a lot of power walking through the door. And you know where you could possibly find a Predator or Wolverine piece of your own? Pristine Auction. Auctions are a great way to hunt for some amazing collectibles at great prices, and Pristine Auction is one of the best. They're one of the most trusted memorabilia auction sites around, and they just launched a new pop culture auction section with a freaking amazing inventory. You'll find signed items from your favorite TV shows, movies, comics, music, and more. For instance, right now you can get this Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord helmet signed by Chris Pratt, or this Mighty Thor 359 signed by Stan Lee. If you dig movie props, you could also nab this Back to the Future 2 jacket signed by Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and other cast members. And you don't have to drop your life savings to score one of these bad boys, because Pristine Auction starts these auctions at only $20. They have no reserves, and the auctions run all week long, every Friday to Friday. So if you're like me and are constantly on the lookout for the next addition to your collection, Pristine Auction is the place you want to go. Their lineups are second to none, and each item comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's leading authenticators. I'm talking about PSA, Beckett, and Fanatics, to name a few. So check out the brand new pop culture auction by using our link in the description. And when you use registration code VARIANT, you'll get $10 off your first order. Just click the link below. Now jumping back to our story, Predator vs. Wolverine issue 2 starts off back in present day Canada, with Wolverine hiding off the side of a cliff as we saw at the beginning of issue 1. He says to himself, "Don't know how long I've been hanging off this cliff. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe an hour. Long enough that the healing factor is kicking in. Blood gums up, nerves fused, torn muscles seal. I needed a beat to recover because more pain is waiting for me out there. Below is a fall of 200 feet or so. Above me somewhere is a hunter who comes from the stars." A piece of the cliff then breaks off, alerting Predator, as the Predator uses his tech to start shooting lasers at Wolverine, now knowing he's down there. Wolverine is forced to jump for it, falling into the water below, sinking to the bottom as he says, "Water is a weakness of mine. I'm already weighed down with adamantium. To make matters worse, I've got an avalanche of stone pinning me flat. My lungs fill with cold black water and my vision goes red. And for a moment, I lose track of where and when I am, as the Predator dives in the water to go after Wolverine, who's pinned to the bottom." We're then brought back to the past in South America many years ago, where issue 1 left off. Logan narrates saying Team X was a dirty crew that did dirty jobs. Assassinate a politician, blow up a dam, seize an oil platform, take out a cartel, all in the name of geopolitical subversion. We came here to stop a coup, but we found ourselves instead in the middle of a borderless war. We were already down to 4 against their 5. Because remember, in the previous issue, one of the Predators took out Team X member Cruel with one of their nets. Wolverine says, "What they were, I didn't know. Like everyone else on the team, my memories were regularly deleted. But I had carried this weapon with me over the years as a necklace. It was like a scar, relative pain I understood the two of us somehow shared." As Wolverine pulls off the shuriken he's been wearing as a necklace all these years and chucks it at one of the Predators, cutting his throat. It then comes back to Wolverine like a boomerang as he says, "Creed, Mav, Jackson, fall back." Maverick then says, "Fall back? How about fire away? Wolverine tells him this isn't going to be a firefight, Maverick. I said fall back, Sabretooth, but Sabretooth is like, no thank you, and starts trying to mow the Predator down with his Gatling gun. Wolverine then says to himself, an invisible enemy you only know halfway and can't see altogether requires a different sort of strategy than just the standard hack and blast operations Team X specialized in. As we see Sabretooth get impaled through the chest from behind by one of the camouflage Predators. But Sabretooth has an amazing healing factor and pain tolerance, just like Wolverine, and turns around and takes the Predator's spear that is still in his torso, grabs the Predator, pulls him in, and impales him, while saying, come in for a closer look. There, I see you. Sabretooth is kind of a badass. Now, Sabretooth took out one of the Predators, but he still has to heal, with Maverick saying, Creed's down, but he took one of them with him. As Maverick, Logan, and Jackson start running, Maverick continues to say, what are they, Logan? He replies, don't know. Maverick says, your weapon is somehow in tune with that gauntlet. Wolverine says, I don't remember, okay? That memory is gone. Must have got deleted and scrambled like everything else in my stupid head. At which point, we see a Predator camouflage in one of the trees above. He then drops a noose down, putting it around Jackson's head, taking her head clean off. At which point, Wolverine and Maverick start opening fire in the trees above, but the Predator throws down a bomb, badly injuring both Wolverine and Maverick. A camouflage Predator then tries to sneak attack Wolverine, but Maverick luckily sees him and takes him out, shooting him several times in the chest. With Maverick more hurt than Wolverine from the explosion and having just saved Wolverine's life, Wolverine picks him up and starts running to safety, which is a temple in the woods that two Predators track them into, but not before killing the wounded Predator for failing to kill Wolverine and Maverick. Once Wolverine and Maverick are inside of the temple in the woods, we see they're surrounded by explosives and realize this is where Team X was sent to take out the guerrilla force, who remember was planning the coup, a former general that was storing weapons and rallying support from a jungle stronghold. As we see them surrounded by all the weapons and explosives, the former general comes out with Wolverine obviously ready to fight, but the general basically says, I know why you're here. Wolverine then says, why haven't you shot me then? The general says, we're not enemies so long as those things are out there. Essentially, the general convinces Wolverine we need to work together to kill those things or we're all going to die. After this, the two Predators storm in, taking out the soldiers from the general's forces. However, while this is going on, Wolverine and Maverick were able to escape the temple and rigged it to blow, killing the guerrilla general and the Predators inside, as Wolverine and Maverick meet up with Sabretooth to be rescued by Professor Thornton via a helicopter. However, when they fly away in the helicopter, we see the general and one Predator are still alive somehow. The comic then takes us back to Canada at the Weapon X facility years later, where we see it's being invaded by Predator, who's killing most of Weapon X's workers. In gruesome fashion, might I add, as he makes his way to where Wolverine is being held and experimented on. As the Predator stands over Wolverine's comatose body, issue 2 comes to an end. And there you have it, friends, the first 2 issues of Predator vs. Wolverine. Like most Predator vs. comics, it's great. I'm digging it so far. Wolverine is a perfect character to put up against the Predator. I would say it's a better matchup than Predator versus Batman, and everyone knows I'm a huge Batman guy. Either way, I love how each issue starts off in the present. Then we go to the past, seeing how the Predator was basically stalking Wolverine all throughout his life, trying to kill him, with the series finally coming to a breaking point with the final battle in the present that the series began with. In short, we're loving this series thus far, but what about you guys? Are you enjoying it? Let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.